I'm really happy that it's come to fruition. I wish it had been at a happier time, but you know, we scheduled it and we've done it, and we've got great fans, and it's great to see them all here. They're still behind us, and that means an awful lot to the organization.
Hartnell was saying yesterday that you went in the dressing room the other day and he could just see how much this season is bothering you. How tough has this been for you?
Well, it's been really tough. We came into the season with high expectations, and it just seems like everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. But the good teams overcome that, and we've got to find a way to regroup, and I guarantee you we'll be a heck of a lot better.
And you resisted making any kind of changes either in the coaching or management. Is that your way of saying that these are things that we recognize has to be addressed on the ice and off the ice? And
well, yeah, I mean, you know, there's no sense in showing desperation or making moves that you're not sure of. And we want to evaluate everything when the season's over. It'd be premature to even think about it. We still have a slight chance for the playoffs. We haven't given up, and you know, we're realistic. We're in a very tough spot. But we want to look at the whole thing when the season's over.
If you don't make the playoffs, do you anticipate a lot of changes personnel-wise in the offseason?
I'm not even thinking that far ahead. As I said, we're going to evaluate it after the season, and those kind of decisions will be made by Paul Holmgren and his staff.
What do you think went wrong this year? This is basically the same team from a team that finished 5th last year, upset Pittsburgh in the playoffs, and you guys have been behind the 8 ball since the first 3 games.
You know, I don't want to really make excuses, but we had a very tough schedule to start off with, and we got off on the wrong foot and never regrouped and overcame it. So, you know, why and how and, you know, what for, I don't like to make excuses. We are where we are because we deserve to be where we are.
A lot of the quotes coming out of the dressing room are, "We're not ready, we weren't prepared." Are you reading the quotes that come out of there, and do some of them concern you?
Well, I mean, I think you're talking to young players who are disappointed in their performance, and those are the kinds of quotes you usually get when you lose.
Do you look back on last summer and say, yeah, everything probably would have been different if you had gotten one of those 2 defensemen?
Well, we were trying to overcome the loss of Pronger. You know, we don't talk about that often, but Pronger, we gave up a lot to get him, and he was a force for us. And not having him has really been rough. It would be the same as Boston without Charlotte. I mean, he was a force, and we missed that. We know that our defense has struggled. We've had injuries. Mazzaros, who was a solid defenseman for us, really hasn't played much this year. You know, now we don't have Grossman, we don't have Coburn. I mean, 4 defensemen that would have been maybe our top 4 are all gone.
Yeah,
that's tough to overcome.
So you think, as is this roster built now, should be a playoff team, should be a Stanley Cup contender?
Right now?
If everyone's healthy.
Well, if everyone's healthy, we certainly would play a lot better than we have been playing, but we want to get better, and we want to really be a Stanley Cup contender. Last year we won the first round, and then we were eliminated by Jersey. We've had trouble with New Jersey. They play a different style. We were going to address that in training camp, but we didn't have a training camp. When you talk about New Jersey, they didn't have to worry about addressing it because they're playing the same style they always play. So, you know, there's a lot of things that go into what we've tried to do and what we haven't accomplished.
I think one thing we get every day is, what will the Flyers do this summer? Fairly accurate to say you're going to be very active this summer?
Well, me personally?
No, I mean the team.
Of course, we always are. We always try to improve no matter what level. Obviously, we've got a lot of work to do to get back to where we want to be.
You were vocal with your concern about goaltending 2 years ago when you got Brizgalov. How, in your eyes, how do you see that playing out so far? I mean, is he okay?
I don't think Brizgalov's been the problem. I mean, he's had to face so many breakaways and 2-on-1s and you know, miss where we turn over the puck suddenly. I mean, I think it's the team. You know, I think we're fine in goal.
When you say you evaluate after the season, does that include the coach and the general manager?
Well, I'm going to sit down with the general manager, and we're going to evaluate everything and discuss everything we have to do. It's Paul Holmgren's call. He's the general manager. I don't tell him what to do. If I had to tell him what to do, then I should be general manager.
His job is safe then?
Of course.
Peter's safe.
You know, I don't want to talk about anything about when the season ends or who's safe and who isn't safe. These are decisions that Paul Holmgren's going to have to make, not me.
When did you hit a point where you realized that this team could be in trouble? It wasn't playing the way that everybody expected. It didn't seem to be getting better than week. Or did you think from time to time that this was still a club that could kind of get it together?
You always hope that you're going to get it together, but I mean, look at our record. What is it? We haven't won one game when we were behind 1-0 at the end of the first game. We haven't had any more. We haven't had more than a 2-game winning streak all year. I mean, it's been a disappointment the entire season. Let's hope that we can change it something. If some miracle happens, we'll win all the remaining games. I'm not giving up, but you know, you have to be realistic and look at what we've accomplished so far. We have to do an awful lot to change that pattern.